Before I get started, I just wanted to say that I will not be having any audience members here because I'm still in quarantine, and I will also be trying to focus my phone on my computer as much as I can so that you could see the PowerPoint. But other than that, we can get started. So my first slide here says why there should be more female staff members at Nike. I would like to directly target Nike because this is a topic that not many athletes know about, and I'm here to tell you about it. As a child, I'm sure everyone has looked up to something or someone, whether it be family, friends, or a celebrity. For me, it was always Nike. For years, Nike was all powerful, using quotes like dream big, just do it, and work hard. They control all the top coaches, athletes, sponsor millions of people, even my team. And here is some of the athletes and quotes that Nike uses. I'm here to tell you that not everything about Nike is trophies and victories. First, we will talk about a personal experience. Second, we will talk about maternity leave at Nike World Headquarters. And 3, we will talk about what can we do to help this situation. The first thing that we will be talking about is a personal experience from a young runner, female, that ran under Nike World Headquarters named Mary Cain. Mary Cain was well known as one of the best female distance runners of all time because of how many championships and national championships that she's won at such a young age. At 19, Mary was asked to run full-time under Nike World Headquarters. For this was a dream come true. Her coach, Alberto Salazar, is one of the best coaches in the world. At the time, Alberto had one of the best reputation for a coach in world history. He told Mary that she was one of the best runners that he had ever seen, and having him on his team would be a great help. After training for a couple years under Alberto and Nike, Mary claimed that she was being emotionally and physically abused by a system designed for men with an all-male staff. Mary Cain had a very hard time sticking around on this team because there were no people there to really support her. They said that Alberto was the way to victory, and this was the only way that she could win. And she had an eating disorder at the time. She was making harmful decisions for herself. And later on, Mary actually made the strong decision to quit. Why exactly did she quit, though? Of course we know why she quit. She was being physically and mentally abused. But at Nike, this is an all-male staff with no certified nutritionists and no actual sports psychologists. Mary was actually put on an illegal substance, which was birth control at the time, which is completely illegal under Nike's control. And this system was designed by Alberto and induced by Nike. Mary stated in the New York Times interview that if there was more women in charge, then this wouldn't have been a problem, and she could have been the person she was meant to be. Now that we have talked about a personal experience at Nike, we will move on to maternity leave. Under Nike, all men are promised a contract for the rest of their lives once they sign. However, when women athletes want to have a child or have a family, this contract is taken away from them or treated like an injury. For example, this is Allison Felix, one of the most decorated athletes in track, and she was also she stopped being a part of Nike when she decided to have a child. Nike is quick when it comes to hiding problems, and maternity is the one way. Olympic athletes like Allison Felix and Alyssa Montaño both have contracts under Nike, and when they decided to start a family, they were simply told, "We will pause your contract and not pay you." When you're signed under a contract for this serious of a sports team, there are a lot of sacrifices that you've made by not running for them anymore. You're losing health insurance, which is very stressful for a mother who's having a child, especially if they don't know if something is going to go wrong in those 9 months of pregnancy. I just wanted to point out Alyssa Montano was one of the first women to actually stand up to Nike and make this known to other people that this was going on behind the track. Alyssa Montano was in the middle of training for the Olympics and was 9 months pregnant when she was trying to prove that Nike was not having a reasonable contract. She actually ran 9 months pregnant with and won. And then later she competed 6 months post-op after winning national titles and going to Beijing while still nursing her child and sending milk back to America for her child to eat. Now that we've talked about information like maternity leave and hearing this information about Nike and it's holding back all these problems, I just would like for you to look around. There are many young athletes that were like me who really looked up to Nike, and how can we change this? First, we should put more women in power. The fact that there was not one woman coaching a woman on a team made a huge difference, especially in Mary's career, the girl I talked about earlier. From a coaching perspective, men's side, I completely understand a man coaching a man, but there are just some things that men will never understand that they will never be able to coach women on. How can we change this? There are many ways that we can change this. I am very passionate about this subject, so I actually called Nike headquarters, and you can get a hold of anyone who you would like to talk to and, tell your feelings to. I really encourage you guys to do that. I also found some petitions about stopping laws on maternity leave at Nike and having more female staff members on teams with females on them. Personally, I think in the future, this is just going to be a lot more beneficial to young athletes who are going to grow into huge athletes and represent our country. Overall, I talked about a personal experience, maternity leave at Nike, and how you can help. Hopefully this touches you the same way that it touches me. And I just don't want anyone to be scared to speak up and think upon topics that have not been talked about at all. And that's all I have today. Thank you so much for listening.